Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 106th edition of the Chronicles of Podcast. And these right here are the Chronicles of Scotty Wartooth, aka TikTok Jesus. It is I, the bearded Brummy Jamie, and joining me, as always, is this handsome fella right here.
The Scotsman Tom, and welcome to the Chronicles of Podcast. Hey!
Hi there, you're about to enjoy the Chronicles of Tom and Jamie.
Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Mann.
Hi guys, my name's Annabelle Knight.
Hello, this is Becky Baldwin.
Hello, I'm Chesney.
Hey, what's up everyone? This is Braden from Say We Can Fly.
Hi there, I'm Scotty Wartooth, and welcome to the Chronicles of Podcast with Tom and Jamie.
Not only have you dabbled in Jesus, you're now dabbling in the devil as well.
Ladies and gents, put your hands together, look up to the sky as we bring you the sermon of TikTok Jesus and bring you the Chronicles of Scotty Wartooth. Joining us this week is Scotty Wartooth, aka TikTok Jesus. Scotty Wartooth is a content creator, cosplayer, streamer who has amassed a following and over 8 million followers on TikTok alone. He's best known for his TikToks being dressed up as the Messiah himself, creating comedic videos, as well as other characters, not just Jesus. He likes to dress as pirates. And even on the flip side, he likes to be the devil as well. Scotty also uses his platform to be a wonderful ally for the LGBTQ community, openly uses his platform to fly the flag for those groups who need that bit of support in this modern society. What an absolutely wonderful gentleman he is. And it's amazing just to hear about TikTok, because I think a lot of people have a bit of a misunderstanding on the platform.
Yes, as it used to be the app that everyone just had kids dancing to stuff on. And now it's obviously grown and developed into this huge thing. Just want to give a massive shout out to Mally Malpass, who introduced me to Scotty at Bloodstock Festival. And this is how this beauty all came about. So yeah, it's great that he reached out. I was like, yeah, I'd love to come on and have a chat with you guys. It did not disappoint, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously, like I said, he flies the flag for the LGBTQ community, just as we do, obviously, with representing the Sophie Lancaster Foundation as well. So it's kind of like a coming together. It was quite nice. It was just lovely. And there's obviously, you get to hear about the darker, deeper side of TikTok as well, in regards to comments and all sort of things as well, and how you deal with haters, shall we say. But yeah, but overall, this conversation's fucking wonderful. It's just a lot of fun. And we enjoyed it thoroughly. But Jamie,
Yes, sir.
do you happen to have any final words at all?
Just a big old massive thank you to Scotty. It means the absolute world. You're taking the time out to talk to us, sir. It was amazing to hear your story and to just learn all about what you do. And plus, it was just great, big bit of fun, weren't it?
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, interviewing this week, it's Scotty Wartooth, aka TikTok Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we bring you another wonderful guest. You can't go anywhere these days without the mention of a certain little app. Some people say it's for kids, some people say it's for creators, and others say it's a place to worship. But who do we go to worship when we're on TikTok? Today's guest is a content creator, a cosplayer, a streamer who has amassed a following of 8 million followers on TikTok alone. Best known for being TikTok's Messiah. Ladies and gents, put your hands together, look up to the sky as we bring you the sermon of TikTok Jesus and bring you the Chronicles of Scotty Wartooth.
Well, hello there. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much for joining us, sir.
It was great. Sorry, just 1 second. That intro was amazing. That's one of the best ones you've ever done.
Why not? We all love the Buddy Christ.
Yeah, it was absolutely fucking excellent. But Scotty, most importantly, I think I'd like to ask this question to absolutely amazing. I can't remember what you call him now. The mug that you just had then, absolutely unbelievable.
Tankard, I guess. Like
Tankard, that's the one. Thank you. Yeah. That was just took my surprise then. I like to ask this question to every single guest that we have on, which was, how was your pandemic? I know it was like a few years ago now, but it's kind of still around. But obviously with your daily life and everything, like how was the last few years for you?
So, for the first part of it, I was still working, actually. We'd sort of reduced staff, made sure we were sort of working individually so we weren't around each other. So I was still kind of getting paid like as usual, but working a little bit differently, a little less to do. But then I think on the second wave of the lockdown, I was actually in furlough. So I was in lockdown, which for me actually was pretty good. Like, as weird as it is to say, as a content creator, I was able to keep myself occupied, but it also was a good opportunity to actually have the time to make that content. And it actually was, for a lot of content creators, exactly the same thing. But it was also, for non-creators, a lot of people who were in lockdown needing entertainment were looking to content creators for that entertainment. So in a weird way, a lot of us kind of thrived in that. And honestly, that's where a lot of my growth actually came from as a creator. So I had it quite easy, honestly. But no, it's been back to normal since. Trying to keep clean, hygiene, keeping masks where appropriate here and there. So yeah.
Fair.
It's a crazy one, isn't it? You talk to a lot of people and they used that pandemic era to go, right, let's get shit done. Like content creators, musicians, like writers, everything. They're just like, I'm stuck in the house. I'm going to get stuff done.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Kev when I say like I did well, because obviously it was a hard time for a lot of people, and I've had a lot of comments like from people saying that my content actually helped them get through the pandemic, and that's always fantastic to hear. But yeah, I try and be a bit sensitive considering what other people did go through. So
no, okay.
Yeah.
But honestly, you'd be amazed at the amount of people we've had on the show that go, I'll be honest, it was great for me. Like, I know it's bad to say, but it was wicked. So you're not the first, don't worry.
That's all good then. I was thinking the amount of people are going to be listening thinking, what? I beg your pardon?
Who does he think he is? Jesus? Oh, wait, hang on a minute.
I mean, if I was to push it a bit, I would say, like, in some way, I kind of miss having that free time, because I still work full time as it is. Like, I work as a gardener, I still stream, and then I got the TikTok content on the side as well. Barely get the breather.
Yeah. How do you even eat or sleep or breathe?
What's eating? What's sleeping?
Yeah.
Maybe about 2
Describe
hours a
this
night. For me. Well, at least certainly not as much as I should be getting, like considering I've got to be up at 6.
Oh, grim. That is grim.
No, I mean, I know some people have it worse, but still, I still should be sleeping more.
I think we all say, well, like, I'm going to get a good night's sleep tonight. Oh, look, it's 3:00 in the morning. No, I'm not.
Literally. It's always the nights you tell yourself that. It's never happens like that.
Yeah. It's just like you say it in your brain, just goes, I think not.
Literally. It's like, screw you, brain.
I'll have 5 minutes on Instagram. Oh, crap. 4 hours later.
No, it's definitely me with TikTok.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But take us back, sir, back to the days of young Master Wartooth. What did you originally aspire to be when you were growing up? Obviously, content creation wasn't a thing when we were young. So what was the original aspirations for yourself?
God knows. I mean, primary school, it's like when they ask you, oh, what do you want to be when you're grown up to an adult? I was like, I don't know, train driver or something. Like, I don't know. I didn't really have much of an idea what I was going to do. But teen years, I started looking more to music. I started playing the guitar when I was about 14 years old, I think it was. Joined a few bands a couple of years later. I went into college actually and did music and music technology for a couple of years there. Didn't manage to get much work in that field though in the end. My area just didn't really have much except small studios and anything. I could only get like voluntary work, if anything. And in the end, I kind of just fell into gardening instead. So yeah. I mean, I did an apprenticeship in it, so I took it at least somewhere at least. So
It's just a very different contrast, isn't it? I want to be a musician or a gardener.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
But to be fair, like sometimes when people ask me like what I could do for a living, sometimes like, when I say, "Oh, I'm a gardener," some people always say, because of the Jesus thing. Everyone says, "Oh, I thought you'd be a carpenter." I'd usually say, I mean, they got a point, but usually I just say back like, "Well, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's helpful when one of your dads owns his own businesses and all, but after a while, I had a bit of a problem being around hammers and nails, just flashbacks and all, you know, just."
Absolutely amazing.
Gardening instead.
Much safer.
Small blades and stuff.
So one thing that stands out to me about yourself when you see your content, you come across as very outgoing, confident, big old smile. Have you always been like this, like an outgoing child? Is this something that sort of developed over the years?
No. I mean, I'm autistic myself, and during my education years, it really showed a lot. So I can be very quiet. It depends on the company I'm with. It's like I almost have like a different personality depending on who I'm talking to in some way. Like my tutor had me hiding right back in my my turtle shell for most of the time. But I mean, TikTok has been quite helpful for being a bit more open, forward, and that learning to just be you're just being yourself in content. You're throwing it out there after a while, and after a while, you've got no shame in any of the embarrassing stuff you do. But I've socialized a fair bit at events. I've made a lot of friends there, so I kind of have to get used to faking confidence to an extent.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly a lot better than I have been like back in the day. So yeah, there's an element of pretending, but I'd say these days I do quite all right actually.
I'll be honest, I relate 100%. Doing this podcast has helped me come out of my shell like you would not believe. Like I was very reserved. It'd take me a while. I got to get to know you before I open up. Now, like we are now, complete strangers. Like, oh yeah, let's talk.
Literally, I mean, it's like in say like alternative fashion. Maybe like from the start, you're feeling a bit too embarrassed to wear a trench coat or a bit of leather. Maybe you're wondering what people are going to think if they see you in public. Next thing you know, like you're dressing like Johnny Depp or something in public. Like not a fuck given. Because if somebody gives you a comment, if it's good or bad, do not care. There's plenty more people where they came from. It's always the comments like, "Oh, it's not Halloween yet." I wish. But no.
I'm just pleased you said Halloween, to be quite honest with you, rather than spooky season, because I want to murder every single person that says that outside of
Your
America.
vendetta against spooky season, sir. It's
because it's fucking Halloween. That's why.
Yeah.
So and if you want to say a season, it's either autumn or October.
That is true, to be fair.
Yeah, it just I don't know why I hate it so much. I don't know if it's because of social media that kids in the generation this day see a lot of stuff from overseas, and obviously I think one of my other half, her nephew, started being like, "Oh my god, I want to watch Mario, whatever." It's like, no, it's definitely Mario. You're English, you're Welsh, or whatever. It's definitely Mario. All right. Isn't there something where apparently he's not saying it's a me? Apparently it's like a Japanese thing that everyone started sparking off on TikTok about, but is talking shit or something. I don't know. I've seen that recently.
I don't know. It might have been a trend or something. I must have missed that. I don't know.
Yeah, I missed that too.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry. I just want tangents. I love them. Love them.
TikTok is a weird one. There are trends that go around and you either have or haven't seen it. It's like, how could you not see it? It was right there. Like, I don't know. I had other trends on my thing. I had the most unrelated stuff on my TikTok for a while. Just
peaches and
and
wheelbarrows. People are pushing each other down in wheelbarrows down hills now. I haven't seen that. For some reason, I've got people climbing up walls like Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's how it works. Like you watch like one video for like a slightly overly long amount of time. Suddenly, that's all your For You page is full of. So no, of course I didn't see that trend because I was getting random dog videos on my For You page all day. So.
As long as I get rug and pool cleaning videos on mine, I'm happy. I don't mind.
Yeah,
they're the most satisfying videos to watch ever.
I don't know. I have no idea what you're about.
Let's take it back to yourself. Where did this journey start with you with content creation? Was it cosplay or were you doing other things before that?
So yeah, I've been a cosplayer since like before I was on TikTok, and the whole Jesus thing, it started at Comic-Con originally, actually, before I was on TikTok. So essentially my friends spent about a year pestering me to dress as Jesus for Comic-Con because of the long hair and the beard and all. And for most of the year I was like, oh no, I want to do more serious stuff, it's the wrong time, wrong place. I might get punched in London for doing that. But eventually I gave in. I thought, all right, fine, I'll get a fancy dress like Jesus costume and I'll wear it to Comic-Con. Coincidentally, on the day I did this, Danny Filth was there signing.
Of all
Not
people.
who I was expecting to see at a Comic-Con, but I found out on that day that he was there signing. So I was like, I've got to meet him. And so I did, although that photo, the typical classic photo of Jesus at Bloodstock with the guy with the t-shirt saying Jesus is a cunt. It just circulates around the internet. I wanted to do something like that, but not like a complete copycat. But in the end, I just had like no original idea. So I kind of we had a photo and I just kind of did the same. But literally, I just said to him jokingly, so I'm a cunt, am I? But he had a photo as well, and he shared it on like every social media platform the band had. And it was just a pretty amazing moment for me right there. So I kept doing it for a while, but then that was 2017, I think. Yeah. But then I joined TikTok in 2019. Kind of had a similar sort of issue. Like I was doing cosplay in general, and people were like, "Oh, you should do your Jesus for it." It's like, no, I want to do more serious stuff. And after a while, I gave in, did a Jesus video. A lot of people were drawn to it. Okay, I'll do another one, maybe another one here, and next thing you know, I'm already getting the reputation of that guy on TikTok who dresses as Jesus, and it started growing quite fast. I featured in a video from Tomska, because I did like an audio from his ASDF videos, and he did like a massive video on YouTube, reviewing a bunch of videos that used his audio. So that mine was one of the first. And I don't know if it's directly related, but in that month he did that, my following on TikTok jumped by 500,000 in a month. It was massive, and I've never had a growth that big. Like, I've met him actually a couple of times, and I've told him that, and he doesn't. He just throws off, no, it's coincidence, whatever. But no, he's a nice guy actually. But yeah, that was my first sort of boost on there, and then lockdown and even more growth since then. It's just became a thing, just established.
That's insane. But obviously, did you go on the platform intending to become TikTok famous, or was it just for a bit of a laugh?
No. So when I joined TikTok originally, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of burying my head in the sand from real world shit, to be honest.
Okay.
So I was just keeping myself distracted, putting some content out there, not trying to go anywhere with it. And I think in some way that's partially why it did so well in a way, because I think by naturally being myself, like for myself, not trying to appeal to any kind of like trend specifically at the time, just dressing up, finding some audios, doing my own stuff how I wanted to do it. And I think people naturally came drawn to my sort of personality with that. So yeah, it just, I mean, I don't think it would have gone anywhere near as successful if I hadn't been doing Jesus. But there are multiple people that do Jesus cosplays on there anyway. But I think it's safe to say that mine's the most popular. And I think that there is some reason to that, at least. It's the content I make. There's some personality to it as well. So I guess that's what's drawn people in. So I guess your audience picks the niche for you.
And the moral of the story is always listen to your mates, apparently.
Always given to peer pressure.
Yeah. Because it seems to have worked for some weird-ass reason.
As you do, like... Yeah.
I wonder if your mates are like, I wonder if he knows that Danny Filth is here. We've got to come on, let's put the pressure on. Let's put the pressure on. But going back to the world of cosplay, how did you even get into doing that? Because obviously I've been to cons, people dressed. I'm like, I'd love to do that, but I'm not going to do that.
I generally just liked like fancy dress, like in general. Like, if I got invited to like some birthday party that was fancy dress themed, Halloween, I just enjoyed like getting into it a lot, really. And I had a friend years ago saying, "Have you thought of going to Comic-Con?" I was like, "What's that?" They told me a little bit about it, and I looked into the Birmingham one. So I went there as my first one, and yeah, I think my costume was a bit shit, but you got to start somewhere. I tried like a sort of a new take sort of on the Scarecrow from Batman.
Okay.
So I tried like a homemade sort of mask using it was an old sort of like World War II winter mask, and I sort of like coated it with like Hessian sack material, and it just looked like a really low budget Slipknot mask in the end. But I had that with a leather trench coat and noose around my neck, and I think if I tried it again these days, I could have taken it somewhere. But it was a first cosplay, not very good. But I had a good time. I made some friends in the community on Facebook, especially. Got involved in some good like sort of friend circles here and there, and just expanded from there. Really,
I love it. What I love about cosplay as well is like anyone can really do it. Like, and there's so many different levels. Like you could just go and buy a costume from a costume shop, or put pieces together like you did for the Scarecrow one. Or there's people that like handcraft them with foam and electronics and all this sort of stuff. Like, but
yeah.
how do you go putting yours together? Is it like what you were saying there, get bits and add them together, or is there?
So I'm
random
not
design?
personally very crafty, but it's like you're saying, there are loads of ways of doing it. I've personally found in my experience with the costumes I've done, I've had the most fun and enjoyment out of the costumes I've spent the least amount of time and money on. So Jesus, like for a prime example, but I've done other costumes like Miguel from Road to El Dorado, and I had a guy doing Tulio as well. I was there with a little mandolin playing around. We got some loaded dice we were chucking around, and just a wig, a red shirt, trousers. I had a good time with that, honestly. And I've spent a lot of money on other costumes. I did a whole like Mandalorian original character for Comic-Con originally, and I didn't end up wearing it very much because it's just a sweatsuit, armor plates, helmet, and of course these events are largely in the summer. I did wear it to a Star Wars Celebration, but it's still just compared to like what else I've worn and spent a lot less time and money on. I haven't got as much out of it. I've got pirate stuff I've spent a lot on, but because I do like pirate festivals separately as Comic-Con and that, so I'm willing to put more money into it if I can do multiple events per year. But yeah, personally, I tend to buy my bits and put it all together. It might be charity shops, antique shops, eBay maybe, perhaps. At the moment, I've the Baldur's Gate 3 that came out recently.
Yes,
I've got a friend who's actually making an outfit for Gale for me, actually. Basically, she's been wanting to make the costumes for several characters, but doesn't necessarily want to wear go out and cosplay all of them. And I expressed some interest in wanting to do Gale, but having no idea how to get a costume like that. So she just said, well, I'm making one. Why not wear it? So that should be hopefully done in a couple of weeks' time. We'll see.
nice. What better way to get them done than gone? You put in the effort and I'll wear it.
Well, I'm paying for the materials either way, so yeah.
Oh, there you are. But
I've just got to make the stuff.
oh, there you are. But we're gonna have to rewind just a little bit there. Pirate festivals.
Yes.
What are those? That sounds great.
So I say festivals generally, but it depends on which event you go to, because say there's a Brixham Pirate Festival actually down in Brixham, and it's literally a whole public thing, like out in the street by the docks. There's stalls. Otherwise, you can go to other events where they're more like social gatherings, because there's a whole like sort of community of people who just go to these events dressed up. We all sort of know each other. Even if like you don't have them on Facebook or anything, you can go to these events maybe. Like I went for my first time and I just made dozens of new friends. I come back every year, and honestly, I love it. You don't pay to go to these or anything. They're not like ticketed events. You just show up, get some accommodation for a weekend there, show up, grab a tankard, have a drink with some pirates, and just it's honestly amazing. Like just having drinks dressed as a pirate, but with a whole community of people dressing like pirates as well. It's actually fantastic. So I go Brixham. Whitby is another one. Lovely little area for a weekend away in general, let alone with people dressed as pirates. And yeah, I'm 28 now, and I've been going since I was about maybe 19, 20 perhaps. And yeah.
Did you not know this was a thing? I feel like slightly sheltered now because that sounds amazing.
I don't know. But no, they are definitely worth a look at, because like I said, just get a hotel for the weekend and just show up. They're not ticketed events. A lot of them like try and raise money for charities actually. But yeah. Otherwise, you can go Comic-Con and have to spend like over 100 quid on a weekend ticket, maybe.
Yeah.
And your accommodation on top of that.
Yeah. But did I see somewhere online that you do work as a pirate as well with mermaids or something? I think I read somewhere.
Yes. So I am part of a company, Book a Mermaid. So we've kind of taken a bit of a step back for the time being, essentially, because we've all got a lot on. We've worked festivals mostly, but I think we'd like to have a sort of a rethink of how we're going to do work in future, essentially. But we do things like birthday parties, perhaps. We've done the festivals with a big pool of like 14,000 liters. Have the mermaids in the pool. I can be outside of the pool dressed as a pirate, where I can kind of walk about. So it's in some way, yeah, I'm there in character dressed up, but it's almost like Santa's grotto. You've got Santa who's kind of sat on the chair with a kid in his lap and he can't move around and do anything. So I'm like the equivalent of like another staff member dressed as an elf. Yeah, I'm kind of in character, but if there's anything like out of place or that needs moving, I can be maybe the guy who just sort of goes over and quickly sorts that. But I'm still in character. I can interact with the kids there. We can have some games, perhaps. Like we did a glowworm up in Newark a couple of years ago, and so we'd circulate a little bit. You got the girls in the pool in the mermaid costumes. When they have their break, I could be outside saying, "Okay, we're going to do some sword training. We have some like foam swords, maybe." And I this is not something I planned out fully, but my idea was have a bunch of kids like team up, start like fighting each other, like do parry, lunge, and all that. And then sooner or later, a kid would have to sort of go with his parents elsewhere, and the kid would come up to me and say, "Excuse me, I haven't got a partner." It's like, it's okay, you can fight with me. So I'll have a play fight with him, and another kid will come up to me, the same thing. I haven't got a partner. So that's okay, you can both fight with me. And gradually, more and more kids start fighting with the pirate. Next thing you know, the rest of them think, "Oh wow, we're all fighting the pirate." Next thing you know, I'm jumping off the hay bales, and it's like Hook, the end sort of like fight when they're all the Lost Boys versus the pirates. It's like that for them. And they have such a good time. So I can keep that up for about an hour while the mermaids are having their break. So there's a lot of fun to it, honestly. And yeah.
That's awesome. And you can guarantee that kid is like the highlight of their weekend. Like, that's amazing.
Honestly, like that is one of the best things about it. Like, even if you don't come away getting paid much by the event, perhaps, if you're working with the kids, you know that you've done right by them. Like one thing we did as well with the mermaids, we had like precious stones at the bottom of the pool where like you can sort of make them into a little necklace. And so the pool will have like these little windows on the side of the pool, and kids could look through, and they get excited enough just getting a glimpse of that tail through the window. But they could point out for a stone in the water, say, "Can I have that one?" So the mermaid would go down and retrieve it and hand it to the kid, and then they'd go over to Lisa, who'd basically make it into a necklace for them. Like, we wouldn't even charge a thing. We just like let the kids do that, and that's several years later, we've still got kids bringing these necklaces to like show and tell things at school. To say, "A mermaid gave me this. It's a wishing stone," and things like that. Like it's why like we're not. It's not just about the profit there. It really is like what you can do for the kids there. Because honestly, it's amazing. Even at that event alone, like usually, like the women tend to be the kids tend to warm up to women more than they will for the men. So I usually have to like take a bit of a step back, not be too up from the kids because I could potentially scare them. But I have had points where like kids will come up like before they've got to go home, they will literally come up for a hug, just to say goodbye.
Oh, that's nice.
That's sweet. That's yeah.
Are you sure you're not literal Jesus?
What, dressing as a pirate, fighting children?
Yeah, well, you can be in costume. So people have no idea. You know?
He did came back. He's dressed as a pirate.
I mean, I've had that one a fair few times. Are you sure the real Jesus? Oh no, yeah, it took 2,000 years to come back this time, not the 3 days.
Yeah. And luckily, there was no boulder this time. Walked straight out. It was easy.
Well, mind you, I did a TikTok just recently, sort of joking about the fact, like, if you're going to crucify me again, at least this time, can you not shut me in a cave? The Wi-Fi was that bad. It took me 3 days to respawn.
That was brilliant. I saw that.
And everyone was like, "Oh, you got Wi-Fi back then?" I was like, "Yeah, we were using the cloud Wi-Fi."
Yeah, nice.
Oh, that's brilliant. So you were saying earlier how like you went on TikTok to just sort of like hide yourself away, like get over some personal problems. But can you remember what your first video was?
If I remember correctly, it was a transition video, so I was kind of like in sort of casual clothes, so like some tracky bottoms and a vest, whatever, picking up a tankard, drinking from it, and it sort of transitions me like I've just magically turned into an actual pirate, just to some drunken sailor sort of audio singing along to it. That was some shitty first TikTok, but yeah, I think it's still there, but you've got to scroll through thousands of videos now.
Did it on purpose. I don't want anyone to ever see that again. I'm just going to spam this feed.
Well, the more I scroll back, I'm going to be like, oh god, I had like that little of a beard. Oh god, I shaved for this occasion.
That's amazing. So I meant to ask this at the start. The name's Scotty Wartooth. That's not your actual birth name, is it?
No.
Where does this come from?
Honestly, it was completely random. I when I was in like secondary school, I even like college, I got nicknamed Toki Wartooth a fair bit because of the Death Clock Metalocalypse series. Also because I was obsessed with my cat at the time, and I think Toki was the long haired, like brown long haired guy, whatever. They would just call me Toki, essentially. And for TikTok, honestly, because I didn't put much thought into it, it was just. I called myself like Scott Helsing on like other socials like years like beforehand. So Scotty Wartooth was just a random thing there. If I knew that platform was going to blow up, I probably would have picked something else. But it's stuck now. So yeah.
I mean, what's it actually like to have such a following? Like 8 million is a lot. That's a lot of people.
Yeah. There's a lot of different like things to it, really. I mean, like for the most part, like my casual life, it doesn't affect me much. Like I can go out into town and the chances are I'm not going to get recognized, but I have been. But say if I go to like London Comic Con, like I'll tell you what, like for example, like so I was going to stop going to London Comic Con like before COVID because it was getting so expensive. I couldn't really justify it. But then during the lockdown, when most of my growth came and we were finally going back to events again, I thought, okay, maybe I'll go this time. Maybe I'll get recognized, get a few photos, perhaps. I did. Not just a lot of people asking for photos, but I had a lot of people who were stopping to express how much the content meant to them, because it's not just the Jesus parody stuff, but it's like the pro LGBT stuff as well. And I had no idea how much that actually meant, like the representation, because like sort of started like while I was like building on TikTok, I'd always kind of worried that I was going to come across as using LGBT for like views and follows, etc. And it still kind of bugs me a little bit today in times, but I've never had that criticism. I've had plenty of criticism for dressing as Jesus, but I've never had like criticism for using LGBT. Partially because honestly, the people like they like having that representation from somebody with that platform, that they're actually using that platform for that purpose. And it meant even more. And because earlier this year I came out as asexual essentially. And again, I just casually threw that out there, but a lot of people actually, they're, oh my God, it's ace representation. And a lot of people saying like, oh my God, one of my favorite TikToks is ace as well. You never quite realize how much your content can mean to people. Like, it's amazing. But I've had like I've had fan art as well. Like I tell you what, my most recent one because of the TikTok Satan stuff I did. Is that going to focus in? Yeah.
That is amazing.
That's so cool.
Honestly, it's sweet, like having things like that done, and yeah, people have been incredibly generous. So it is honestly amazing. But yeah, it's when you go to events where like Comic-Con for me is the best place to go to because you've got the nerdy like cosplayers, but a lot of the LGBT crowd as well. So it's a great place to actually interact and like meet people there as well. So yeah, it honestly is amazing.
It must be such a great feeling, obviously, to be able to support.
Honestly,
like we were saying earlier.
that broke me. By the time I came home, I kind of made a video just to sort of talk about it, and honestly, I just broke.
Oh, dude! Like, just well, thank you to begin with, like for everything that you do, because it's absolutely unbelievable. Like, obviously, we represent the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, so you know, we're doing our bit as well. But it's like you unintentionally did a lot for people without realizing it. It must be a hell of a feeling.
It's like you kind of know like it's nice to do it for like because it's a good purpose anyway, but then it's actually hearing it from people who genuinely like mean that they appreciate it. I mean, actually Comic-Con in Birmingham last year, I had a guy come up to me saying that my content encouraged him to come out to his parents. And I still don't know like how to I still don't quite know how to respond to that. Like, it's amazing that my content can actually have that kind of impact on people. But still, it's just
Damn.
like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just trying to make people laugh.
Scott, are you sure you're not actual Jesus?
I mean, I've had like a lot of people saying, like, are you sure not him because you're doing a better job than he did back in the day? But otherwise, you got people like that. Then you got people saying, like, you're not Jesus. Like, well, yeah, no shit, I'm white.
I mean, with what you were saying about when you've had criticism for being Jesus and stuff, like, how do you deal sometimes with do you get like a load of shit, or is it just random every now and again, or like how do you
I get it on a daily basis. Like, I've been wanting to do like a proper video to explain how I've sort of dealt with that, to kind of help other people deal with like criticism in general, because there's different stages for I sort of went through, which I think would be like a general sort of thing. So it's like in general, when you on social media, when you get a negative comment, maybe you've just commented on some random video and some guy's being snarky commenting back at you, you get that kind of urge to kind of bite back, like whether it's for your own ego, whether it's to put him in his place, whatever the reason, you tend to naturally get that sort of urge to bite back. It can be a bit hard to shrug it off for most people. But then when it's like at you a bit more frequently, there might be a point where you leave the odd one or two because it's, I've already answered a comment like that. And then you get into a point where like you're getting a bit selective over which ones you're going to bother with, the more frequent these come, because it is a never-ending battle. And I think Ricky Gervais once put this very well when he said, like, arguing with people on the internet is like correcting graffiti on a toilet wall that you're never going to use again.
That is absolutely genius.
Honestly, it hits the nail on the head, because I mean, I've slapped back at comments on a regular basis, but like there's always going to be more of them. But I still do respond to a bunch of them, like sometimes because it's not just to get at them, but it's because I want to make an overall sort of point of something they're talking about, and maybe I can address it. Maybe I can be informative, or maybe I can be sarcastic and slap back. Like, I mean, for example, say like for Black Lives Matter, perhaps, as soon as anything that springs up to spark up the Black Lives Matter crowd, it always sparks up the All Lives Matter crowd.
Yeah.
And then you get that internet argument, oh, you're racist and that. But there are people who are genuinely trying to shut down the argument with ALM, but then there are some people who they're not as informed on the subject. So when they hear All Lives Matter, they think, yeah, makes sense. And then when they put that on the internet, they're getting screamed at and they don't get why. So I took the time once to take that comment essentially and just actually explain in detail why it's controversial, why it comes across as such. And it didn't get many views, but I still had a few people saying, like, this is the first video where someone's not actually screaming at this for me. Like, thank you. There's a few people in the comments that actually understood where I was getting at. And that's essentially all I was trying to do. Not feed my own ego, not put somebody like in their place, but just try and actually inform a little bit. So that's one good thing about having the platform. But at the same time, you do have to be careful with what you say, because I like to talk about the Bible sometimes in some informative sort of ways. But I understand, like, I've spoken to like Bible scholars, Old Testament scholars, and I recognize that people may take my word as gospel more than her, simply because I have a high platform. And I've not even studied religion. So I think if I'm going to educate, I want to try and be very careful what I say, because I don't want to be responsible for misinformation being put on the internet. And I have been, and I've tried to correct myself where I've been wrong. But yeah, you do have to be careful.
Yeah, because I know there's been a few people that have been like, I know your location, I'm going to come and find you, and that sort of thing. That you've had recently as well. Yeah.
Those are funny because they're always going to IP addresses and they're always wrong. But I mean, that's why we have like VPN, so that you can't be tracked like that. But I always find that when people start to threaten to leak your IP address, they, like, 99.99% of the time have no idea what the hell they're talking about. I've made like 5 videos responding to people like trying to dox my location. One of them was basically took me to I search these up sometimes, and one of them took me to an island just off Madagascar, Larry O'Neill. I was like, no, mate, that's not where I live. The most recent
I mean, I
one,
wish.
though, a guy left 2 locations in his response, and so I put them in. One of them was in the middle of a field in the middle of nowhere. It's like, what? Do I live in the Shire or something? The second one was somewhere in the middle of London. It's like, okay, well, I was born in London, but that's the complete wrong area anyway, and I was moved out when I was 2. Try again.
Who gets so annoyed by someone having some fun on TikTok that they want to find where they live? Like, what is wrong with some people?
I mean, it's not just the fact that I dress as Jesus, it's the fact that I have the LGBT representation as well.
Yeah.
But what's most frequently the complaint is my profile picture. It's literally just a picture of me in a white shirt and blue jeans with a pride flag in the background. Like, there's not even an attempt to make it have me in a costume. I've got a picture of me in the costume, but I use a casual one. And everyone's like, Jesus was not gay. It's like, I didn't say he was. Like, where did I ever say Jesus was gay? It's like, your profile picture, your PFP. It's like, it's a picture of me, you utter donut. It's like, it's a picture of me. I'm not gay. Like, I got a pride flag in my profile picture. That doesn't make me gay.
It's nuts how misinformed people are. Do you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
support one thing and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my god, I hate it."
Yeah, it's like calm your tits, buddy.
Let's just calm down here, yeah.
The irony of this, though, is like, because I've said I've got a picture, like the picture I've gotten there is it the cartoon picture of me. I've got another one, same artist and everything, but it is of me in the costume. And I've experimented with this multiple times. I've put the profile picture with that costume version and with me. Ironically, I get like 3 times more complaints when it's actually just a picture of me than when it's actually Jesus in the picture.
Okay, well,
it's
there we are.
so dumb. Like, it just shows out how some people will just jump the gun, like thinking they're being clever when they're just being complete idiots. It's
yeah.
Yeah.
I bet they're nudging their mate, go, watch this. Yeah, look at the shit I'm giving him.
Yeah, I've made a couple of videos to point that out. So, no, that's me. But the last one I did, it actually did quite well on the views because it was funny. But I still get comments on that saying the exact same thing. Jesus wasn't gay. Like, dude, did you listen to the first sentence I said in the video? And you're still whinging about this crap.
But what I love as well is you'll reply to a video, you'll give a very thoughtful, responsive, informative answer, and then you'll click on their comment and the comment is deleted. Like, of course it fucking is.
I mean, it's either because of what I said or it's because people jumped on their comment. So that is one sort of downside with when you make responses like that, because I don't have control over what my viewers are going to do. Like, I generally can't even have a sensible conversation with somebody. I had a guy who made a video sort of at me, but it was intended as a sensible sort of debate thing. So I made a response. I made it very clear in the caption, do not like harass this content creator. And they did. They reported his content and everything. It was nothing like really offensive about what he said, but they still were taking it upon themselves to go from my content to his to have a go at him. And I was like, guys, I told you not to do this. Like, I had this guy in my inbox telling me about this, and I had to apologize, saying like, look, I'm sorry. Like, I did try and make it clear not to harass you about this. I intended this to be a sensible discussion. We made up, but yeah, that's again, it's the internet, really. So
there's no control in the internet.
No.
Unfortunately.
Where'd you get the ideas for your videos then? How do you come up with, with what you do with Jesus and whatnot?
It sometimes just springs to mind if it's a trending audio. Sometimes it's a question of like, how can I make that relevant to Jesus? Do I make it relevant? Is it relevant? Do I just make any old video but just stick the costume on anyway? Like, for one example, there's a video I've been wanting to do, but I haven't got the stuff for it properly yet. There's an audio, I think it's from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I think, or something, saying, you can punch me, kick me, pull my hair. I am A-OK being stabbed, biting and scratching out on the table. You can use fire. So I have an idea with this. It's going to be a bit spicy, but it sounds like it's kinky sort of sex thing, whatever. I'm thinking of putting Jesus sort of on the cross, saying to the Romans, you can kick me, pull my hair, and the Romans going to be on the bottom of the cross, like having absolutely no idea what they're supposed to be doing in this situation. It's like, these are the ground rules. Is there anything off? Is there anything off limits? Damn, girl. You got something sick you want to do, huh? Oh, you little pervert. It's a be spicy one, but it'd just be a funny sort of scenario. He's on the cross. I've made a few jokes like that. Like I one spicy joke I made a while ago was like saying Jesus, he died on the cross because he forgot the safe word. Then there was an occasion I got tagged in the video. It was a guy sort of throwing daggers at like a target, but the camera was sort of on the target. So I did like a split screen duet, like I was Jesus actually on the cross, receiving the daggers in the hands, and I was shouting random words like chocolate, rabbits, ow, eggs. Oh, that's an idea. I don't remember what the safe word was and coming up with Easter instead.
This is so good.
I have no idea how I still got on a platform at this point.
Well, people obviously enjoy it.
Oh, they do.
You know what I mean?
It also pisses off so many people. Like I've had like plenty of like I've of course several outrages, but I think I had one video that actually caused 2 outrages. Interestingly enough, so there was a weird trend on the Christian side of TikTok where like Christians were sort of kneeling down and praying. And then this flashy filter would come on the screen, which should have had a flash warning, but it sort of like had like this reveal of Jesus, like he was watching over them, like secretly, essentially. There was some like, okay, interesting videos in that, but there was one video in particular of a cop who kneeled in front of his police car, sort of arms outstretched, head down, and then the flashy filter comes on, and it's like Jesus, like putting his hands on his shoulders to sort of console him or something. There were 2 issues with this video. Neither, I believe, was intentional in the slightest. The first one, which I think was the main reason he turned off his comments, was because the picture he'd used of Jesus was actually a troll photo of Charles Manson.
Whoops. Right. Oh, dear.
So essentially, there's like a troll picture of like Jesus putting his arm on Trump, and it's actually Charles Manson's face. That was the photo he'd used. I don't think he had any idea who it was supposed to be. The second issue was the way he kind of positioned himself with Jesus, because it looked like he was giving him a blowjob. So what I did in my video was I stitched this to cut halfway through as Jesus, just pretend I was pulling up my zipper with the sound effect, and just say, what? Yeah. But as I was saying, this caused 2 outrages. One, because people thought that I was again calling Jesus gay.
Oh, yeah.
But then the second outrage was because a few months after I posted this video, the cop in that video, he actually passed away. He was involved in a car accident.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But the thing was, obviously I didn't know that was going to happen. But on the news report, they used his video to say, you may recognize a cop from this video. He passed away, he was killed in a car crash, essentially. So then when people are seeing my video, they're seeing his bit first, then they're seeing my stitch of that video. They don't even look at the date. They just think that I'm making fun of a dead cop. Yeah. And like, on one hand, it's like, do I just take the video down out of respect? But then it's like, well, you know, there's nothing really insulting to him about what I'm doing. Like, even if I was going to call him gay, which I'm not, that's not an insult. But the thing was, in a way, I almost needed that video up because that was my evidence that I'd post that video like ages ago. Like, no, I didn't post it to make fun of a dead cop. It was already up there in the first place. But I think TikTok secretly took that down. The video had already gone down before for the first outrage, but I'd requested a review and it went up. They accepted it didn't violate the guidelines. But then one day, suddenly all the notifications on that video stopped. I looked and it was completely gone. No notification of it being removed, nothing. It was just gone.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's so
I can only assume a moderator got involved personally and did that, but that video got 25 million views and it was largely angry people.
Wow. Do you find it's mostly American?
Yes.
People? Yeah, because they're a very religious country.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, like, most of the hate what I get is them. But, like, of the top countries that follow my content, America's the top one. UK is only 5th, I think, or 4th. Yeah, no, either 5th or 4th. only 6% of my followers are from the UK. Who would you think was second place to America if it's not the UK?
I would say either Australia or Canada.
Neither of those are actually in the top 5. Second place is actually the Philippines. It's a random country from the first thought there. But when you think about the fact that they are about 86% Roman Catholic and they are one of the largest English-speaking nations in the world. So for a Jesus content guy, that makes a lot more sense. But it's interesting how I never get them angry at my content.
That's nuts.
So it's interesting how they can be perfectly fine with what I do, but it's largely the Americans that get angry. But at the same time, largely my followers are religious. They constantly say, like, I'm religious and I find this funny because they recognize that, yeah, I'm making jokes like about Jesus and God, but my content is not there to ridicule anybody for what they believe in. Like, if I'm asked, I'll give my opinion. I'll say, yeah, I'm an atheist. Here's why. If you'll challenge my belief on that, I'm happy to give a response. But it's not there to disprove the idea of a god. It's not there to take away anyone's belief, because I've got my reasons why. I could waffle on about that for ages, but I don't have a reason or a right to try and take that away from people. And I'm not there to like make people sound stupid for believing in a god, because I'm an atheist. I don't believe that there is a god, but that doesn't mean that I can say that there isn't one. I can't prove that. So each to their own.
And your content isn't mean-spirited in the slightest. It's a laugh. It's light-hearted. Like that Jesus take the wheel video. I must have laughed for at least 10 minutes over that. Like it's fucking brilliant. There's nothing mean with that.
No, it's like ooh, but
and plus, if only Jesus wore those red shades.
Taking the wheel. I've done some old ones like that before. Like Jesus take the wheel, not that one. Have you seen? There's that advert, that anti-speeding advert. I think it's an Irish one. There's a guy speeding, and there's children playing in the park next door, and the guy crashes his car, and it flips and rolls over the wall, about to like run over the kids. Essentially, like it's like a very horrifyingly dramatic video, like anti-speeding one. I basically took that one, but I just had the whole thing like, Jesus, take the wheel. Like, you got it. No, not that one. Off the road and hitting the kids. But I mean, I didn't show it hitting the kids. It was implied that it was going to. That's a kind of a risky one, but it's the idea of Jesus taking the wrong wheel is kind of an old one in general, so it's nothing new.
And again, it's not you go, nah, Jesus is an idiot. It's a bit of fun.
No, like literally, yeah.
And plus, if only Jesus, if he existed, wore those funky red shades. Because come on.
I got them here. Oh, I do actually, yeah.
They're amazing.
You can see the string and lots of things there.
I love those guys. So amazing. But we were obviously we were just discussing then a lot of backlash online because of this character. But have you had any backlash in person, whether it be when you're dressed up or even just in the streets, people that recognise you?
I don't think so. No, I've had some negative feedback from people who I do know in person, and I've yet to see in person since. I had one guy who, for quite some time, was a good friend of mine, and for a while he was very sort of pro-LGBT, saying, "Oh, Jesus didn't hate LGBT, whatever." But apparently he started hanging around with some very conservative American kind of Christians, and he started getting very, very downhill, very toxic with some of his beliefs there. And yeah, that would be a long story as it is, but no, I haven't seen him since. I hope I don't, because he seems a very unpleasant person now, what he's become. So, but no, I mean, like I said earlier, I thought I was going to get punched for dressing like that in London. I've had no such thing. I went to Florida last year, and I thought I was going to get shot. But no, I had no negative comments there. I had people who loved it. So maybe it'd be different if I went to the South. But
yeah.
Let's not do that. But no, I mean, Florida, I've been fine. London, I've been fine. So no, it's always online. It's rarely from English anyway. So
it's interesting. But it's amazing how much coverage you've had doing this character, and I can imagine it's given you so many amazing memories and moments, whether it be on TikTok or reactions you get at cons. Do you have any standout moments to you from doing this?
Well, earlier this year there was a music video released I was actually in. Do you know Fire Funds?
I've never heard of him before, but I
saw
saw it on your
German folk metal band. The vocalist is also from D'Artagnan as well. So yeah, I was in the music video for Berserker Mode. Essentially, we actually filmed in that in October, and it got released August, I think it was. Essentially, I got to be Jesus in this like Viking village for all these like Viking bodybuilders pumping it, and they try and train Jesus to become as buff as them. And there's an ending joke where there's a CrossFit joke, which they didn't actually tell me what this joke was. They just told me that there was a CrossFit joke. Didn't tell me what it was until I was there filming. But they literally got me on a cross that they sort of converted into a weight machine with a pulley system.
That is amazing.
I literally I told them, like, you're going to get some backlash for this, don't you? It's like, oh yeah, we know. But honestly, that was an amazing experience. Literally going abroad for a music video. That was in Germany. We filmed that. Otherwise, a few weeks ago, I was in Norway for a convention. I was invited as a guest for, but I think music video was cooler.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that result, but yeah, I just kind of wish like the algorithm on TikTok went really downhill for a lot of creators a while ago. So I kind of wish I could have promoted that video a lot more than it actually did. But hey ho, I did joke actually as well. Well, I was slapping myself for forgetting to do this, not even considering it. But people were saying like, did you sing "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life" while you were on that cross? I was like, I did not. Fuck. I did piss about. There's a video of me sort of dancing on the things like just pulling the rocks and that, because there were like boulders on the edge of these like ropes I was sort of pulling. But I took that video, just sort of me pissing around behind the scenes, and I dubbed it with "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life." That video did well, which is ironic because it was like the one video that I wasn't strictly trying to promote the video, and it blew up.
Typical. How did that come about, though? Did you just randomly get an email like, "Wait, they want me to do what now?"
Yeah. I mean, so I was following the band D'Artagnan originally. They did a video, C'est la vie. I kind of did a duet, like I was extending the music video. Is it folk metal kind of thing? People were joking about it being like flute metal because there was like sort of flute solo, I think, halfway through. And I jumped in like some like duet split screen thing, and they saw the video. It did quite well. They actually followed me back. I didn't say a thing to them like at all. Neither of us did. But then I found the other band, Feuerschwanz. They did a cover of I keep forgetting how to pronounce the song. You know, Maya he, Maya ho.
Oh,
yeah. They did a cover of that, a German folk metal cover of this Venezuelan song. It's fucking amazing.
It's great.
And I went to look at the channel, and I noticed they were already following me. And I noticed it had the same vocalist as the other band. So I followed them back, and I looked on Instagram, seeing at both pages, seeing if maybe there was some UK tour dates, perhaps. There aren't, because of Brexit, essentially. But I found the vocalist was following Ben. He was following me on his personal Instagram account, verified and all. So I just followed him back. On that day, he just, like, a couple of hours later, literally messaged me asking if I'd like to be in a music video.
Incredible.
It was just so out of the blue. But I was like, is it like, yeah? Like, I was like, I hadn't been abroad all that much. So I was very limited. So I had about maybe 2 days of annual leave left. But we made it work. I went there for, what'd I do? I was only there for like 2 days, essentially, like 2 or 3 nights, maybe. I think, yeah.
That's awesome.
Hell of an experience.
It's amazing just to think, you know, one day you're like, yeah, all right, I'll dress up as Jesus on TikTok. I'll give in to some peer pressure. The next thing you know, you're in a music video doing weights. Like, that's amazing.
Literally, if I could go back like 5 years from now, say, yeah, you're going to be in a music video for this band. Literally, I had, it was Napalm Records that were asking me promote the video a little bit there. So literally, if I could go back to like 5 years ago and tell myself I was going to do that, I'd no. Like the amount I've done with it. Literally, like recently, I had Wizards of the Coast have me promote their new D&D campaign, which was pretty damn cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's amazing. But just we're going back then, saying, you know, like we're talking about some of the nasty side of reactions you've got because of doing this character. Has there been any moments where you sort of wanted to stop Well, for whatever reasons, maybe because he's sick of that, or maybe frustration. You're like, I could do more than Jesus, like.
It's not that I want to stop doing it as such. It's the fact that I wish I could get the same sort of like in popularity in doing other costumes. But like TikTok is a weird platform as it is. Like you kind of have to have the algorithm on your side, like while it lasts. But as soon as you start going off what your usual stuff is, that tends to not do very well. So I've done costumes in my pirate gear. I've done costumes in other other cosplayers. I did I did a collaboration recently with a friend, and we did 2 or 3 different costumes, like different dozens of videos. None of them are doing particularly well at the moment. It's okay because it was just a bit of fun, but for 8 million followers, right? So 1% of that would be 80,000. I'm having a lot of videos like that get about 20,000 or less. So it's quite disappointing when you have a platform that size and you're posting content like peak hours and everything, and you're still not even hitting 1% of that audience. Because the algorithm is just really strange at the moment. It's not just for me, it's for a lot of creators at the moment. They're just kind of, no one's getting seen. It's different, it's just the viral videos now that's actually getting all the attention, which is a bit annoying because their own guidelines state that unoriginal content, like stuff that's just ripped from other platforms, will not reach the For You page, and yet that's all we're seeing on the For You page at the moment. There's no creators there anymore. It's just stolen content. Like people are literally just nicking scenes from movies and TV shows and getting tens, hundreds of thousands of likes on the videos, and that's not supposed to be happening.
Ooh,
but
nice.
There's no attempt to fix it because people are still using the platform anyway.
Yeah.
So TikTok getting into no trouble for it, so they ain't gonna lift a finger.
It's very weird.
Oh, well.
I've never understood how these things work. You'd think the people that have the most followers would clearly be the people that get seen.
Apparently not. I mean, I think they actually said a while ago that your followers would no longer have an impact on your views. And we're just thinking, well, then what's the point in having followers? What's the point in following accounts if you're still deciding what content I'm actually seeing anyway?
I've noticed if I follow someone on TikTok, I see their videos less in my For You page.
So if I follow somebody, maybe someone new, I'll get a bunch of their videos for a while, but then after a day or two, nothing.
Yeah. So unless I go on that bit.
See them. I might see them if I go on the following page, perhaps. But otherwise, I have to search them up to see if they still exist. And I still get people saying oh my God, you're back. I haven't seen you since 2020. It's I've been posting almost daily since.
It's weird.
It's where have you been? I've been here. I didn't go anywhere.
It's weird.
Not only have you dabbled in Jesus, you're now dabbling in the devil as well.
Yeah.
So what made you want to make that transition to do both?
It started as a joke. It was never meant to be an ongoing thing. Literally, I had this guy make a video about me. He's a very, very toxic Christian. I just think it's a really poor example. And I wasn't going to pay much attention to him because he's one of those ones you want to argue back, but at the same time he spews just mountains of shit. And it's I have not got the time of day for this. But he made a video about me, so I made a joking video of something he said. Saying about have you understood the point of Noah's Ark? This and that. It waffled on. So I made this joking video, God talking to the survivors, Noah, and that. Oh, I'm so sorry, I drowned everybody. I pinky promise never to do it again. Look, here's a rainbow to promise you I will definitely not do it again. That was the joke, and he made some lengthy video waffling on about me as a creator, my content and stuff. You know what? All right, fine. I'll give you a proper response. And but the ending of his video, he said, usually I'd say go in peace, but for you, I say get behind me, Satan. So the phrasing is the issue here, which is kind of a thing with conservative Christians at this point. But I just slapped on my my smoking gown, put some old Halloween horns on. I was like, oh, come now, behave. It's because it sounds like he's asked me to get behind him or something else. I was about to say oh, behave. And I just did this one video. And I actually, I think I did 2 maybe. But no, I had that girl who made that fan art. She just saw that video and she absolutely loved it. So she spent all night on that bit of fan art.
Legend.
And so I've made a few more videos since. I'll consider maybe giving it a break to then reprise later on. But it's now Halloween month now, so I'm doing that, and I partially do it as well because it pisses off like some dumb people. Like there's not a lot to it. It's just me in a red gown with horns. I've still got the long hair and everything. And some people can't differentiate Jesus from the devil in this case. They think that I'm just slapping devil horns on Jesus. Like, no, it's literally the devil. Like,
oh my days.
It's funny. Like they keep saying you're not Jesus, but they can't differentiate me as a person from Jesus. Like, which way is it? You can't have it both ways. Like, either I'm naturally Jesus in your eyes or I'm not. But no, I've done a few videos like that. I've pissed about here and there, and yeah, I'll happily do some more. But yeah, it was just a joke. People took a liking to it a lot more than I thought. It allowed for like a sort of new dynamic of content, because when I do Jesus, I can be more serious. I can be chaotic with the glasses, a baseball bat, or something for the hell of it. But that almost allows me to be a bit. How do I describe that? A bit
like
spicy,
ruder,
I guess, in
yeah.
some way. But yeah, in at least what's appropriate on TikTok levels, at least. But
Yeah.
Well, if you
But
start a
I-
Jesus only fans, they'll go mental.
I have joked about this so many times. Like, so my Discord server is called the Holy Fans.
What's up?
I've joked about this not on TikTok because they're very sensitive over the words alone of like OnlyFans. But I've said like imagine I actually did do like an OnlyFans Jesus themed, and my intro video would be like hi there, welcome to Bible Studies After Dark. I'm Jesus Christ, and this is my penis. Episode 2, Jesus gets nailed by 5 Romans. Episode 3, Joseph watches wife get fucked.
Joseph the cuck.
That would be pushing it even for my own followers though. Like,
There's so much good stuff
Yeah.
there. It's a shame. There's so much good stuff that you could really do with that, but people will just lose their shit.
yeah, especially because like TikTok are very sensitive with the spicy sort of content like that kind of spicy. So I'd rather not dabble with them. Maybe I
Yeah.
could put it to YouTube for a laugh, but I would not put that on TikTok because I've lost my account 10 times and I've had it restored 10 times. But at the moment, I don't know if I would get my account back if I lost it again, because I haven't got the same emails that I used to essentially. And yeah,
Have you backed up all the videos or no?
most of them are backed up. Yeah, so
Okay, good.
but a lot of them are all old and that anyway. So they're all old trends that just wouldn't do anything like these days anyway. So
Okay.
they're mostly saved anyway, but still.
Yeah.
So, do you have like a TikTok community? Because obviously, I had the pleasure of meeting you at Bloodstock Festival with TikTok Mario and Mally Malpass. So I believe it was TikTok Mario.
And
It was-
Lord K was there as well. I don't know if he was there when we met.
No, it was just
No, he
3 of
wasn't.
you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
But
like,
yeah,
do
I
you
mean,
have like
so
a community sort of thing?
I do have a Discord server I mentioned, where some of my followers can sort of like they can come in there. I'm in there. Like, you can make friends. You can keep up with my content here and there. Otherwise, I suppose it's just regular viewers on TikTok, if anything. If anything,
I mean like
because-
other content creators. Do you like hang out with each
Oh.
other and chat?
Not as much as like we used to. Like I was actually saying just recently, we had this trend a couple of years back. I think it was like 2020. It was the walk in on me naked challenge. So what this actually was for anybody who doesn't know. So like the idea was like a picture of you, and so it's like how would you react if you walked in on me naked? And a bunch of like what we actually did was we actually like reached out to a bunch of other creators saying, could you make a short like 5 or 6 second video in your TikTok personality character to how would you react if you walked in on me in the bathroom and I was naked? People were getting dozens of creators, just this ongoing compilation of content creators reacting in some funny ways to like walking on people naked. I got people doing it for me. I did it for a bunch of other people, and this actually felt like such an actual community online that we actually had. And if somebody was like sort of reposting on this day so and so, and I was just saying, oh, I said on that video, I honestly miss this trend because I haven't felt that sort of like community with creators in a long time. There are still friends I can go and see. There's people I know in person, and some people I'm going to go see next year. I saw last year in Florida. Got to meet a MegaCon in Florida as well. But it really is a case of who you know, really. There isn't much of a creators community as much as there used to be. But
Okay.
there's mutuals. There's people I'm quite proud to be mutuals with that I can contact if I want. But no, I wouldn't say I'm part of any community at the moment as such.
It's amazing to consider, because this is one thing I always take from TikTok. Like, a lot of people go, oh, it's a kids app. Oh, what a load of rubbish. Just children dancing. That's all it is. But it's not. I've noticed that TikTok has given a platform. It's given people a voice. And there is that community there. Like, whether it be the creators or fans in the comments and stuff like that. And it's people finding like-minded people. Like you were saying, how people have come to you and gone, you helped me come out to my parents. Like, because those people gravitate to. There's that community there, and it's absolutely amazing. And I believe it's a lot more important than people give it credit for. And on top of the platform to let creative type show off their arts and skills and whatnot, then people might not have been able to do that in the past.
No,
like the amount of talented musicians.
Like TikTok. We've had like Instagram, we've had YouTube, but TikTok, I would say it does get worse and worse, but it has been something amazing for people. It gives a lot of opportunities. Like, although I would say it is a platform, it helps you get discovered. But if you're going to be a creator, don't rely on it as the sole app, because it will not last forever. There are people who try to basically ditch their full-time job and go TikTok full-time, and I don't even know how you can do that. I'm 8 million followers, and I'm still working a near minimum wage job. Like, I have never been at a point where TikTok could basically like pay for my living. Like, I used to get an average of about 10 million views in a month. On the Creator Fund, that would get me about £170 in a month, which is nice to have on the side, but it's not going to pay your bills.
Yeah.
So I don't get what people are doing to think that they're going to do TikTok full time. Like, how? But no, it has given a lot of opportunities. It's given, without TikTok, I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am now. And a lot of creators have the same thing. A lot of like famous like musicians as well have had the same thing. I was saying something recently. There was, what was that song? A, B, C, D, E, F, U. I saw something a while ago where somebody like basically managed to crack how that song actually blew up, because it started off as a successful TikTok video that they actually got a deal with and put it into a full song that went in the charts and that. Apparently, it started off with a comment saying, could you make a song about this? And somebody actually looked at the account it came from, tracked the address, like the email address, linked addresses, and found out it was her own personal manager that had put that comment on the video. So she made a staged, basically a planned video for that comment, and it came across this natural thing and it blew up, and she gets that deal. It's, say what you want about that tactic, it works.
Yeah.
And it's done very well for her. Yeah, you can call it manipulating the system, but you wouldn't get that on Instagram or Facebook. It just wouldn't work like that. TikTok is the platform that everyone's gone to for that sort of thing. That's why it's got over 1 billion users on it right now. Okay, yeah, maybe most of them are bot accounts, but or duplicate accounts, because everyone was panicking of losing their account in the first place. But it's still, they have millions of active users, millions of active posters posting content and that. And yeah, it has given a lot of opportunities to people like myself.
I think Sam Ryder is another amazing example of what TikTok can do. The dude went from singing in his living room to being on Eurovision. Like, it's nuts.
Sure I know, actually. There is the Postman who did the shanty as well.
Yes, that one as well.
Well, man, yeah, like that's done very well for him. He got a record deal from that.
Like, it's crazy. Like, one of our earliest interviews was with Call Me Chris, when she was doing like duck videos and stuff like that. And now, like, she's in Nickelback videos. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's crazy what that app has done for some people. absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
But the one thing I really respect about you, we touched on it earlier, is you use your platform to stand up for groups like the LGBTQ community. I tripped over my own words there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're an ally for those groups, especially someone who has a lot of people viewing your content. Is using your platform to express those views something you wanted to do originally, or did it just sort of happen?
It just kind of happened. I mean, I'll tell you what, one thing that really started it a lot was that, so it was those sort of years when like everyone was putting the pride flag in the profile picture for Pride Month, as we all did. I did that, same as everybody else. But then when it came to the end of Pride Month, I just noticed how like everyone was like immediately taking it down. Like the second it wasn't Pride Month anymore, businesses, creators everywhere. I just kind of thought, I'm not in a rush. I can leave it there a day or two. And I had a shitload of people sort of like commenting, say, like very angry, like Republican, going, "Oh, it's not Pride Month anymore. Take it down." I was like, why? And eventually I actually got to that point where I just said, you know what? The more you guys complain about that profile picture, the longer it's going to stay there. And that was about 3 years ago I did that. It's still, I haven't taken that pride flag down. Yeah, I've changed the profile picture, but it's had a pride flag in it since. Because I've just said, like, the more you guys complain, the longer it's staying there. And it's just a thing now. Yeah. But yeah, so that was one thing that started it off. But yeah, I did make content around that. So sorry, trying to have a bit there.
The tankard. There it is.
Grog.
Not quite. But no, yeah, so that was one thing I started off by doing. Then I started doing more individual content about it. And I slowed down about it because, like I mentioned, I thought I was going to come across as using LGBT for that. Because for a while I was saying I'm an ally, but I'm not necessarily a part of it. Because it took me a while to really sort of come to like terms like saying, okay, maybe I am asexual. And then I came out about it this year, essentially, basically just, accepting the label pretty much. So now I get to basically say, I support it and I'm a part of it. So,
but like I was saying before, that helps so many people that come across you, even before you came out as asexual. Just been like, this guy's an ally. I can enjoy this guy's content and not worry about being judged or demeaned or anything like that, and I can be valued as a person. And it's so important. And most and especially at the minute that is important. Like, I know we mentioned at the start, and I was going to try not to say anything, but when we've got our Prime Minister making heartless, pathetic, immature fucking comments about the trans community in front of the world, and you're taking time out of your day to go, right, Mr. Sunak, let me tell you why you're wrong. Like,
yeah, I mean, my response was more about what other people were saying. Like, I was looking at the comments of like that video, and I just couldn't help but notice, like, it's the same sort of people, right? They're always on about, not all men, all defensive, men are not like that. Why are they so quick to call trans women rapists? Because when they say, they're just men in dresses, okay, so why is your first thought rapist? I thought it was not all men. Why? It's really, it's kind of like when you get some guys do the same sort of thing, not all men, until they get a daughter and they start dating. It's one of those, really, but it's just really interesting to see how quick people will, the moment they even think of the idea of a trans woman being in the presence of other women, suddenly their first thought is protect women. Well, where was that when it came to actual men who were putting women at risk? Not a whisper. Yep. But as soon as it's trans women, it's just sad. It's just, yeah. No matter how long they've been in government, wrecking the country, all it takes is some negative comments like that, and suddenly it's like, I agree with him. He's a politician. He's there for implementing policies. He's there to run the country. If that's what's won you over, I don't know how to help you with that one. I genuinely don't know what to say to that. So
it's absolutely bonkers. And when
I think they know it as well. They know exactly what they're doing. So,
and when you see a video come out of Theresa May from a couple of years ago saying we need to support the trans community,
I saw that exact same video. Like, I didn't like it when she was in office, but these days I'm really starting to think, where was this Theresa May?
Yeah, it's like, hold on, this is weird. Why we all go rooting for Theresa May again? This is odd. But
have you seen the one, like, quick one? Have you seen the one where, like, when Boris Johnson, like, all that, they broke the lockdown rules?
Yes.
She stood up in Parliament and basically said that's what he said, which means either the Prime Minister didn't understand the rules, thought the rules didn't apply to them, or didn't know what the rules were. Which was it? And just sat back down, and the room just roared. I think, yeah, where was this, Theresa May, when you were actually running the country? Just, I don't know. Politics for you.
Yeah, I try to avoid all politics, but when I saw that one video, I was just like, you piece of shit.
Yeah, I've tried not to just ramble on the same thing everyone else has said. I think I took a bit of a new take on that one for give an interesting, different talking point I've not seen people make.
Yeah, no,
it's like you can use the platform to make the same points, or maybe you can try and use the platform to make a new talking point to actually get people talking. Because, like I said, you never quite, when you go to a platform that size, there are people that are going to take the things that you say quite seriously, and they might take my word better than an actual expert. And I think I mentioned earlier when I had to be very careful with things I said. Like, so I had a video a while ago. There was a mutual of mine who. When you got the captions in TikTok, sometimes it does it automatically. Some guy, basically, he's a mutual of mine, and every time he said the word Jesus, he replaced it with Scotty Wartooth. But when he said Scotty Wartooth, he switched it with Jesus in the captions. Okay, funny little joke there. But at the time, the people were tagging me in this, and I thought, actually, that's a kind of funny idea. Wouldn't it be funny if we started doing that? But I was very quickly corrected when I posted that, saying, please don't encourage that. Some of us genuinely need the captions because we're hard of hearing. And I just immediately thought, shit, that's a good point. Because if my video of that gets out, then it's not just the potential that, yeah, you could switch around the Jesus things, but other people might pick up on that and think, oh, what if we start changing it to this? Because, yeah, you can change the captions to whatever you want, but they are actually there for a reason. So I was very quickly like, point out about that. So I took the video, I stitched it basically to say, you might have seen this video where I said this, please don't do that because this. Then I deleted the original. I left that one up there with the stitch and just said, here's where I went wrong, here's why it's wrong, please don't do that, I apologize for making that mistake. Best I could do in that situation. Because it hasn't gone anywhere, but I didn't know that it wouldn't at the time. So that is why you got to be careful, and that's just captions on a video. It's amazing how badly misinformation can spread.
Yeah, it is, and it's shocking how much people believe the things they hear on the internet as well.
Yeah, so, even if they're well intended as well. Like, I mean, you get some really horrible misinformation. But one, like, for example, as Jesus stuff, I tend to like try and educate a little bit about. One bit of misinformation some people say is, oh, did you know that the white depiction of Jesus is based on a gay lover? No, it isn't. It's been trending around on the internet like for quite some time now. It circulates around, but there's multiple stories of this. One is the idea that this is based on Leonardo da Vinci's boyfriend, Cesare Borgia, who some people might know from the Assassin's Creed video game. But there's actually no data to back that up. There's nothing to suggest that ever happened. The only thing we can trace that back to is a book from Alexandre Dumas, the French fiction writer who wrote The Three Musketeers, The Count of Monte Cristo, that sort of thing. But he's not a historian. Beyond that, we have absolutely nothing to suggest that ever actually happened. We don't even know Leonardo's sexuality. But people see those videos. They see a big content creator saying, I just found out that the white depiction of Jesus is based on a gay lover for Cesare Borgia. And those videos blow up all the time. But I have tried to correct that mistake like half a dozen times. It goes right under the radar because the misinformation is often more interesting to people than the actual truth. So this is something I've tried to inform people of, but it's not getting the traction because it's not what people want to hear, even if it's the truth. Like I thought it was true once upon a time until in the middle of an argument, I tried to find a link sort of evidence to prove it. And I found out in that there's 5 minutes of Googling it that I was talking complete bollocks. That there's literally no evidence. So
it's one of those, isn't it? Ah, that's entertaining. You must be true.
Yeah, it's like it'd be nice to like have the sort of views that people get for that, but I don't want to have views on misinformation.
No.
Like, if I'd rather put the truth out there, even if it's not going to get me the views. So,
No, fair play.
Absolutely. But looking at the future, do you have any goals, things you'd like to achieve using your platform, whether it be content that you want to make or a way of using the platform to elevate yourself, or are you just happy plodding along being the Messiah?
so I'm happy to like doing what I do on TikTok, but I would like to be able to do content creation like for a living in general. So I try and do Twitch streaming on the side. But I really should have tried to draw more followers over to there before the algorithms kind of went down the drain for people. Because I still work full time, but it's like I mentioned earlier, it's basically minimum wage.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be nice to be able to do like more content creation, actually do that for a living, because at least I could then enjoy what I do. I could do that in multiple ways. Like I could do like gaming. I could actually have more of a community I can actively engage in, which I like doing anyway. But I have to do that on the side, like where I can fit it in, essentially. So yeah, I'd like to be able to do that more. I'd like to be able to do more TikTok content. I'd like to like collaborate with more creators and people in general, worldwide. Maybe if I could, it'd be amazing. But yeah, it's finding the time to explore to other platforms. I like to try YouTube, but I just haven't got the time to make proper lengthy YouTube content for that. So yeah. Essentially, I guess just expand. Yeah, I there's no specific goal in mind for that, because you don't know where content creation is going to take you. Like no one like would have thought like OnlyFans was going to go to where it is, but it's been a massive help for people. But one day that concept is going to change into something maybe similar but very different, and we're not going to be able to predict that. Like we have things that we have things that we're drawn to and things that we like in a platform when it tries something new, when it works, but we don't know what that's going to be. So expand, I guess, is my main goal, but where that can go, I guess we'll have to see. New management at the moment, so we'll see what she can get.
So like Tom said there, where there's a will, there's a way. And
oh yeah,
you've got that following there, and that is the first step to have the people there. So you'll get there, my friend, no doubt. But before we start wrapping up, we do need to mention this Twitch channel of yours. What sort of things are you doing on Twitch?
So I mostly just stream games, like variety stream, essentially. So I'll stream whatever I like, really. Like I don't just stream games because Call of Duty or Fortnite just because it's popular. I stream what I like doing, because it's my personality that people like. It's what's drawn them to me in the first place. So I do whatever I like to play. It's been Baldur's Gate 3 lately. But I played the Resident Evil 4 DLC lately as well. I really enjoyed that. It was my childhood sort of game, that thing. So the remake was just I fucking love it. But
I've yet to play it.
It's really good. Like if you like the originals, it's very good. It keeps it fresh but familiar as well. There are points where you'll think you know exactly what's coming up, but something else will come up instead to kind of throw you off a little bit. I won't spoil anything for it, but you'll get exactly what I mean. There are elements you're going to recognize, but it's not going to play out exactly the way you remember. It keeps it fresh, but it's familiar. So storyline's basically the same, pretty much, with some expansions here and there. But yeah, it's very worthy successor. Like, very worthy remake. But yeah, but no, I was saying I would like as well to do more sort of talking sort of streams on there as well. I got in a bit of a drunk stream I was talking about maybe having some sort of LGBT sort of guests on, sort of just chat LGBT in general, their experiences, how they've come to where they are, like advice for people in the chat maybe. Because the little talk shows like that can be very helpful for people. So if I can use my platform for that, great. Yeah, it could be new. It could be fun, actually. Maybe make a habit of doing it.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
I've yet to indulge in the world of Twitch. I've heard very good things about communities and the people have had on Twitch, but I've yet to indulge. I feel like I need to actually try it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to grow on Twitch if you haven't got a following elsewhere to draw to it. But what I like about Twitch, I have far less followers and viewers on there than on TikTok, but it's a consistent community on there, if anything. There are consistent viewers. I'll recognize the names on there. So-and-so, welcome back. I can have a bit of fun on there. We can have some games. Like they can be very generous, like gifting subs, bitties, like money, essentially. But on TikTok, it's so random. you could have some familiar like viewers in there, but you're mostly going to get complete random people. And like, my main difference, for example, Twitch, I can have conversations with people in the chat. I can talk, they can keep me going, and I can sort of get to know my viewers better. TikTok, I have to ask the exact same 5 questions every 5 seconds. So, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite movie? Where are you from? Do you speak this language? Do you speak? It's saying like 5 questions all the time, and I have to pretend that I haven't answered the question like 1,000 times before, because if you just hop in someone's live stream, you just ask a question, then they just like snap at you. It's like, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But it does get annoying. It's like, I literally just answered that question. Yeah, that's the difference there. TikTok is random. Twitch, when you get the followers coming in, if they like what you do, they'll be consistent. And so it might be less viewers, but it's consistency essentially, and that's actually quite nice. So,
Hello. Before we start wrapping up, Mr. Stevens, do you have any more questions for our wonderful guest?
I do. What is your favourite colour?
I don't have one actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't know. It's like I can't pick one. It's like, what's your favorite song? I don't have one. What's your favorite band? I had to narrow it down to like 5, like whatever.
Yeah, it's so difficult. When people always go, if you go listen to one song in the world forever, what would it be? I don't know, because there's so
I get
many.
sick of it. Like if I had to listen to one song, I can't even pick one as it is. It's like, fuck it. If it's one song, let's go Killer Clowns from Outer Space or something.
What I actually wanted to ask was, did you ever think when you first got pushed into being Jesus at Comic-Cons and then obviously online, did you ever think this was ever going to happen?
Absolutely not. I thought it was going to be a one-time thing. Just get it out of the way. Here's a cheap costume. Let's just get it over and done with and just sort of move on. Danny Filth actually had a lot of fun in general with the costume. Thought, all right, I'll do it every now and then. Became a bit of a almost like a celebrity at Comic-Con as it is. Then you go on TikTok and now it's like, yeah, every like 5 seconds I'm getting stopped by people for photos and stuff now. It's, yeah, I know that didn't, at no point did I think that was going to happen. Like, I thought it was going to be a one-time thing, get it over with, just do some regular cosplay. And next thing you know, that's all I'm known for doing.
Yeah. It's great, though.
I just love the fact before we came into this, I nowhere in my mind thought that all this would be down to Danny Filth.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Before we let you get out of here, my friend, any plug social media's websites? Where do we want to direct people?
So I keep the same username, Scotty Wartooth, on everything I'm on, but it will be mainly TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram, if anything. But I do have occasional bits on the side. I've got a Cameo. I've got a Discord server, the Holy Fans. If anybody fancies joining the Holy Fans, but yeah, it's Scotty Wartooth on. Yeah, if you can't find me under Scotty Wartooth, I'm not on it, on whatever platform it is. Like, I haven't got a Facebook page for it, but TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch be the main ones to go to. So there is YouTube, but it's mostly just shorts. So I'll work on that in future, I hope.
Dude, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming on the show. It was great to chat to you.
That's all right. Thanks for having me on.
As well. No, not at all, man. Thank you very much. Cheers,
Thank you so much, Scott.
Take it easy. See you later, buddy. Bye-bye.
What a wonderful conversation. And it feels so weird to keep saying TikTok Jesus. Like, the fact that's a thing is just wonderful.
I love that. It's the gift that keeps on giving as well. The amount of stuff that you could do with that character is absolutely phenomenal. And he portrays it beautifully. And I love how it was all down to peer pressure.
Yeah.
But Scotty, thank you so much for taking the time out of your insanely busy schedule to sit and chat to us. We absolutely loved it. Hopefully we can do it again sometime in the future. And hopefully we'll see you at another festival down the line. But most importantly, I hope that you all enjoyed listening to it as we did recording it.